got Summer Showdown, but still, obviously, we both had a comp, so we can discuss that, can't we? So that makes it quite good. So obviously, we have something that's running in line in tandem here, which is quite nice.
Okay, cool. So you've got all the data this time.
Yeah, I've got the data. I don't know how to screen share exactly, but I can obviously read off it. I mean, you must. I know my numbers regrettably, so yeah, we can. That's best. That's how best we can use it if needs be.
Yeah, I mean, what are we going to discuss? The fact that you didn't warm up and then that sandbagged your deadlifts or something.
Fuck yeah! Of course I can. Of course I can.
Well, we have been recording for about 30 seconds now. So
lovely, 30 seconds, right? So since then, you've had me on 4th of April of this year, which was in. Was it in France or was it in Ireland?
It was in Ireland, but it was against the French and the Brits.
Nice, lovely. And then obviously there's me with Summer Showdown, so a more local level for both of us. I mean, obviously
still competed against some high level people, didn't you?
Yeah, I think. Well, I look at it, and you have Darius Kwong, who was almost expected to win right off the bat, and with very, very good numbers. You have Michael Paredes as well. If I look on Summer Showdown for Marvin, if I go by GL points, you've got Alex Bishop, who did very well as well. Quite unknown fella, but did very, very well. And that, I mean, if I maybe had dropped a deadlift attempt, maybe I would have secured that 3rd place. But shit happens. Like, this goes on. I think obviously when I did last comp, I just thought to myself, shit happens. A bit after, I was like, oh, for God's sake. But now I just think, I sit back and I'm like, shit, you've got to have a shit comp once. I've had 3 good comps back to back. So a shit comp was really on the cards.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to have, and it's important to deal with. Like, if you only ever have good comps, I think you just increase your anxiety over, but what if something goes bad? Because you don't know. Like, a lot of people's what ifs, which is basically all anxiety is like, oh, what if? But, and just making up scenarios in your head. But if you never experience it, you are just plagued with but what if? And it just gets more severe, I'd say, in terms of the unknown of like, but what if things go wrong? It's never happened before. What do I do? So yeah, you literally need it to happen, because then you can deal with that and you don't smash your own brain in by doing
I think it grows larger and larger as well. It becomes that elephant in the room you just can't ignore, because you will give yourself that expectation of, I've got to do better. My GL has to go up. My DOTS has to go up. My total has to go up, whether you stay in the same category or not, whether you go up weight class, drop weight class, stay in the same one. And I think a lot of lifters have that mindset set into their brain, forged into it. But then when they have that bad comp after such a long run, you can't put a number on it, and they do badly, you do see it. And I can't give an example off the top of my head, but some powerlifters just throw the towel entirely. And I think it's so silly, because this sport, as we've discussed, is quite literally built on experience. It's just because it is a very monotonous sport, but with that monotony comes the sort of leg room for more experience to come in. Which is like you can just play around so much more. Whereas obviously in other sports there's so many variables. This one, the variables are tiny.
No, like absolutely, and I think I forget what I was going to say.
I probably went on a lot of old, so that probably plugged up your head. But I think it's one of the funny ones of how much you can learn after a bad competition. Like after this one, I mean, at the moment concurrently, I'm having a really good block of training. Obviously, it might go bad next week. I've got week 4 come next week, and I've got my primaries tomorrow. But I'm getting a 170 kilo for 4 on a week 3, which would have seemed so alien in the past. And being issued load caps at my own will, I just said, I spoke to Stefan afterwards and I said, can you just give me load caps? He said, of course I can do that. I said, that's a very easy fix. He said, you at least have that restraint on yourself where you want to put that limitation because you know there's growth later on. And that is one of the matters I think powerlifters need to realize, is that not every block of training is going to be week 4 single PRs, because that would be unsustainable. There'd be no leg room to move on, and it would be boring. It would be monotonous. I'd hate week 4s to have every single. Obviously, our training styles are different, but I would hate to have week 4 singles at the end of every block. I do get bored of them sometimes, I will admit.
Yeah, and as you say, it's very unsustainable. I think what I was going to mention is, in terms of, oh, I've had a bad comp, that varies from person to person. So if we do talk about, was it Alex Bishop? Was that his name?
Yes, that was the young lad. Well, young lad, he's older than me. He came second place. Yeah, he came second place.
Yeah. So I saw him at All England as in the 83s. He competed against one of my athletes, and he, what was it? His first squat, I think he missed. I think he stood up and I think it fell off his back or something.
Christ, that is that. But did he recover after that squat? Going like,
well, he came out. I think he didn't get his attempt in time for his second, and they only put him up 2.5. So he basically then he got his second squat. Or so I'm like 80% sure on what happened here. He definitely got one squat. I don't know if it was his first or his second. There was a time, it was either for his second attempt or for his third attempt, where he timed out on getting his attempt in.
Yeah.
So he then, he didn't. I think he either didn't do his third or he did it and then left. But regardless, he left before bench. He was like, "Nah, fuck this, I'm leaving."
Yeah. I mean, whilst you're saying that, I have brought it up, and it does say disqualified next to his placing sort of up in powerlifting, 255, 257.5, like no lift or either hasn't gone out for it, 275, no lift or has not gone out for it, bench, no lift or just hasn't gone out for it. And I think I can't make those comments on people, because I would much rather say the matters to somebody, as a sort of a human consistency, rather than speak ill of somebody. But I think the psyche of getting disqualified per se is whether it's just out of just a bad comp. I think it is probably the low point in how a lifter must. This is from any personal psychology I must know. You must think, wow, I'm at a real low point now in terms of how I look at a comp. I must recalibrate myself to become a better lifter and to approach a comp day better. And it's, I mean, you look at comps in that respect, and you do realize that powerlifting has just so much room where you don't have to think about variables much. As I said, there's that monotony element. It's already crafted for you before you go on the platform. So you just have to go in, do your training, do everything right, your diet, your sleep, the whole shebang, and just go into it. But it's something which I think some lifters just don't know how to bounce back from. They end up leaving, and I just think to myself, why have you left? You love this sport. You dedicate your whole craft to this. Yeah, it's not my own to judge, but I just think it's just silly sometimes.
Yeah, so I would say, like, props to Alex there in terms of he did that in, what was it, March? Something like that?
Yeah, I think it was May even.
Yeah, and then he comes back for the July summer comp in ST and, pretty much smokes it, So,
water.
Yeah, like, even what I think he may have missed one squat still at ST, but like in terms of having a bad day, I would personally consider that by no means a bad day when your previous comp was one squat and nothing else.
Well, I've fun enough had a look at the data now. He only got one squat, and then he went 6 for 6 on bench and deadlift. So, I mean, granted, that's why, like, so if I apply this to my own self, I remember that when I went for that 282, and it was I can't even fathom looking back at it now. I thought, I got told how hard that squat looked, but I still got it through. I said, I'm not fucking giving up on this. Excuse my language. I'm not giving up on this whatsoever. After a second attempt went Ori, my leg buckled of some sort. I even laughed walking off the platform. I looked at Eston and I said, "I've done the stanky leg here," and I just sort of laughed at it. And I went out for my third, just sort of get it done. I thought at the point, I thought halfway through it, must be not halfway. I thought I am not getting this, but I just thought power through, get it. There's a reason why you get under that bar and do it. If it, you know in your own head what limitation is, you know, no, that's not going, or that's absolutely going. I think with a squat, I will always look at it in terms of get it done, go for it. Because I've not missed, the only squat I've ever missed in powerlifting in comp, I remember, was 225 kg back when I did British Juniors in 2022. And that was on technicality. And again, it's the rules. So I have no complaints at all. I literally asked, I remember walking off the platform and asked the referee for when bars loaded per se. I don't know what the title would be called. And I was going, what did I get the reds on? She went soft knees and premature re-rack. I went, cheers. Like that's literally just learn that. It's not too bad. Just learn that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think like mentality there. I think Alex did really well to come back. Clearly, there's something with the squat. Like I'm not his coach. I don't know the guy either, but something with the squat that he's going to want to look after. But I remember having seen him both times. Like he's got a big squat in him. I just don't know what it is for him. And then I think if we keep talking about mentality, you look at Michael Pierides, who takes long time, like he takes long breaks between his comps. And I've spoken to him and it's just like, you know, life gets in the way. You know, he bought a house, moved out, you know, he's doing real life things, but then also he's like, I don't want to compete without improving. Like he doesn't want to do a competition where he does worse than last time. And I think that fear element doesn't really help you be a very good athlete. Like the Commonwealth Games is going on at the moment, or has recently finished. All of those athletes will compete multiple times a year, and not every time they compete will they do better. But they're you know, professional athletes getting, well, I don't know. I think they're supposed to be amateur, but either way, like they're getting sponsorships and getting paid for things, and it's not about doing better every single time. It's like, and I'm not also saying, you know, powerlifters should compete 8 times a year, but I think if you don't let yourself do worse, then you're missing, like that's a element of being an athlete and dealing with it.
I think there's this expectation in powerlifting and that you are almost entitled to a bigger total because you put the work in. And it's a silly attitude to have from some of them. I remember speaking to somebody who I train around in Pure Muscles. I can't remember who it was, but they had such high expectations for a competition that happened. And they said, I felt like I was robbed. And I went, do you mean by the referees? And I thought, I'm not going to take that if it's obviously going against volunteers at all. And they went, no. He said their actual explanation in the best way was, oh, I had so much more in me. But there's this attitude of you can't prepare for the competition day. You can always project it from that moment, from any given moment before the comp, and then do it. But you're only ever going to do well on the day when you actually execute it and just get it done. And anything can just go wrong. And these things do happen. I think the expectation of failure within powerlifting needs to be looked at, especially by the younger lifters per se. I mean, it grows out of people, and you notice there's a lot more of a mature attitude that gets displayed in novice manner from opens and masters lifters, because they've had life experience. They know what's coming up. They've probably done quite a lot of a lot of pursuits where failure just happens, and you just need to make sure that like you are enjoying the sport at the same time. Like, for goodness sake, enjoy it.
No, absolutely. And in terms of what was I thinking? God, my brain's just gone to shit, I think. I had profound thoughts and they just kind of left as you were talking. I was like, oh, there goes that idea.
I'll switch up then. What's your next comp? I believe is Western Europeans, isn't it?
Yeah, that's something like 6 weeks away now.
6 weeks out.
4, 5, yeah,
so we're
6 weeks.
We're sort of we're sort of aligning again a little bit because my next one is going to be in October. I believe it's around October the 12th to October the 15th. So we're sort of at that point where we're closing in
Yeah,
again.
you're gonna be what, 10 weeks out now, roughly?
Uh, yes, 9 weeks. I haven't tracked obviously the week between it,
Yeah, so
but
kind of 9, I'd say, because your 12th to the 15th is midweek.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of the. It's I think for you, is there a very high chance that you could win the 105s?
No. And also, my priority isn't Westerns. Like, it sounds silly.
Okay.
It may
No, but
sound
it's
silly to some people, right? But, um, so if I do really well at Westerns, which is in September, mid-September,
hmm,
it does not progress me any further in powerlifting. Like, my personal reasons for doing powerlifting is to go as far as I can. Like, I want to go to the European champs. I want to go to world champs. If I do really well at Westerns, what, I'm not going to, that doesn't do anything for team selection going forward. Whereas
interesting.
I've got nationals in November.
Right.
That's only 7 weeks afterwards. That's
Yes.
if I win that, or if I come second on that, that's where the ticket to Euros and Worlds comes.
That does make sense. Because I'm having a look at your profile now, fun enough, and you've got your Western Europeans from 2024, 2023. So your interests must be very much geared towards, again, that nationals. You can use it as a benchmark to know where your training is at and know the peak and what you can work on. And I think that many people, when they get a national singlet, they want to go all out in that comp where they don the singlet. Whereas you know that there's some competitive edge that comes with being in the opens, and you can think to yourself, okay, well, I could then get the Irish singlet to go to the European Championships and to the World Championships, and there's a very strategic element there that I would consider powerlifters from GB, because I'll only really know how GB runs it more or less, that they will go for the first chance they'll get a comp, the first whiff of an international, maybe whether that be Commonwealth, whether it be some like Western Europeans, or I think it's All Nations. I think the other one is. They will just go, let's go all out. They think no, if you really want to go far, as in how you suggest it, go for that national, but use it as a benchmark. Just use it for what you can.
Yeah, so it's kind of difficult to explain because, like, it's the only reason I'm doing it this way is because of the proximity between the comps, the fact it's 7 weeks apart. If I had longer between them, I absolutely would go all out for Westerns. There wouldn't be a reason to hold back. The reason to hold back is because nationals allows me to progress further.
Yes.
Like as you've said, I've done 2 Westerns already. I actually declined last year's Westerns invite. I got one for last year. I had to say no because I was invited as a 93 and I was already about 102 when they got
No.
the invite. I'm like, I'm trying to be a 105 now. There wasn't really any
There's no
room for
point,
me.
is there?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I can't just because again, like it's just how the calendar works. Nationals is November, Westerns is September. I couldn't have gone, oh yeah, sound. Let me go to Finland as a 93. Let me just cut down 10 kilos real quick, and then let me just put it all back on for nationals in like 8 weeks later. It
Yeah.
it wasn't sensible. So I was like, I'm
No.
gonna have to say no. But equally, there was a bit of an element of like I feel okay with saying no, especially because I've already been twice,
Yeah.
and
That's a really
I'm
sensible.
yeah, I'd say I was also giving the opportunity in a way to someone else to get their first singlet. Like I don't want to take an invite and waste the opportunity either. Like by no means am I going to try and sandbag Westerns just
No,
for no
no, no,
reason.
no, no.
It's like I will wear the singlet and I will do the job, but it's like I don't because I don't really like the idea of taking away almost someone else's first cap because we've got a
That's
reserve 105 and I'm like and he deserves a chance at this.
of course, of course.
Um, Yeah.
there's I think looking at it, I've just got to your open nationals, obviously for last year for yourself in this instance. And I mean, judged by your last comp, you got 815 total. You have I mean, looking at obviously last year, obviously top two, 808, 810. And obviously, you're going to know the progression a lot more within Irish powerlifting than myself because, well, not within the Irish powerlifting circuit. I know the British powerlifting circuit being the MC and spot and loading, but I won't know anything about Irish powerlifting. So is there a good chance you could do very well up at nationals? Therefore,
I'm gonna get you the. Where am I even looking? I'm gonna pull up. So the Irish powerlifting have their nominations up already.
oh, fantastic! Let's have a look at that. Brilliant.
Yeah. So is it here? Yes. Yeah. So unlike Britain, Ireland are pretty damn organised with nationals. The way we work it is it's top. Yeah, I thought you'd like that. It's top 7, including last year's champ. Right.
Right. Okay.
Okay. That's how we run it. You know.
Okay.
If so, and the qualifying period is from last Nats to this one.
Perfect.
If there are weight classes that don't get filled up, like usually the lighter weight classes or the heavier weight classes, invites will get distributed to the the kind of wait list, which is the ranking of people who haven't got in based on GL. Oh no, based on percentage of qualifying total. So we have a QT as well.
Okay.
It's like vaguely complicated, but realistically, it's not. Especially when they make really cool spreadsheets that get updated from open powerlifting. So anyway, 105s, right? So we've got top 7 here. We've got Ken, Melvin, Stephen Kelso, me, Matt Henry, Dermot O'Sullivan, and Scott Dean with an asterisk. The asterisk means they've qualified for more than one weight class.
So interesting.
Yeah, so like last year I had an asterisk because I had qualified as a 93 because of my performance at Open Nats.
Mm-hmm.
And then because I did some 105 comps, I'd qualified as a 105.
Right, okay.
So yeah, Scott's qualified as a 105 and a 120, but he's also, I think he weighs like 94 now because he did a big cut. So who knows what he's going to do. Regardless, there are 5 of us who have all totaled over 800. Now that's not happened for 3 years in the 105.
Blimey, that's a fight. That's a fight then, isn't it?
Yeah, the 105s since 2023 have been pretty spaced out. Like it's not been an interesting comp. 2023 we had Ken, Melvin, and Dami Fisher-Ante, who is now competing in Britain. Those 3 lads, 1, 2, and 3, I think it was a kilo separating them because 2 of them lads got records, and I think it was body weight as well that separated 1 and 2.
Do you know what? To be MC on that would be unbelievable because I'd use my voice in seconds.
Yeah, it was outstanding. I was in the 93s and we were like flight A, and then 105s were flight B. We were just, again, it was like Kean, me, and Ian Grant. We were so far apart from each other. Like that wasn't a fight. Kean was winning. I came second. Ian came third because he was far enough away from fourth. Like it wasn't close. But the 105s, we were just warming up the bar for them. Like that was where the fight happened. I think Ken got a squat record. Melvin got a bench record. Dami went for the deadlift record but missed. Like it got down to the final pull, and it was so. I'm excited for that to happen again because we've got Ken who's totaled 832 this year. Melvin's done 835. Stephen Kelso has done 817. I've done 815. Matt Henry's done 810 at Euros, and then he went to Worlds and injured and still did 805 or something. So like, I'm very confident that Matt sat closer to that 830 range than his qualifying total suggests. So, and we've all had quite a while to train as well. Uh, Me and Kelso are going to Westerns. I don't know what Kelso's like plan is. I don't know if he's gonna go balls out because it's his first one, or he's gonna be like, ah, actually, Nats is a bit more important. Let me kind of save myself. Because also the thing is I've been not struggling, but making more of an effort not to compare myself to the lads. Like I've seen a lot of their training on Instagram. They're all lifting more than me right now, but
You have no idea. You
their
have no
training is
idea.
different.
Like you, but then again, there is that element where you do have that comparative mindset. If you think I have to observe every little movement and training post, whether that be a reel, a story, or any other means that their training will be published, and you feel this compulsive urge. Looks like I've got to get that. So on this week, where there's something similar, I've got to up that. I've got to post it. I've got to compare myself to that. I think it's dangerous in essence because then you might go off the track of what your coach is asking of you, and you may fuck your performance up in that respect. Like, I'll give an example from my own end. So before I did, and I don't know if it is or not, whether we can't extrapolate it from earlier, but I remember when I did my week 4, or it was either the peak or it was week 4 before I did ST Summer Showdown. I remember getting a 250 pause triple, and great, like perfect. I thought, let's get that money. Let's hit that quarter ton threshold. Pause. Like that's something great. But I think I set myself quite far with that to go in with all guns blazing, to go for it without any sort of load caps and to go above the prescribed RP that was given. And my squat obviously suffered. I had people telling me, saying to me, JP, you might get, 290 to 300. That was in my head. That was drilled into my brain. Say, you've got to get it. You have to get this. And then obviously I came up with 282, which was the lowest, which was the lower of the last attempts. It was given to me 287 and a half was given. And you can obviously go above your coach expectations, but then there's that risk element in powerlifting that you take. And I think that when we go towards training, I think it is the people that sometimes stay the most silent about their training that do happen to benefit a lot more comparatively to those who want to make their rivals known. It's like you've got to just get on with your training, just listen to your coach, and there's a basic need that needs to be fulfilled that's set by your coach.
Yeah, I can't agree with that more because so in this context with nationals, Melvin told 8:35 at the same comp that I was in, but because he hadn't competed for ages, he wasn't allowed in the prime time,
Right.
right? But he totaled 8:35. I totaled 8:15 at that comp. He totaled 20 kilo more than me, and
Yeah.
I don't think anybody was expecting it because he doesn't post. We didn't even know he was coming back.
Yeah.
Like, we just saw
Yeah.
him on the list and we're like, oh, sick! Like Melvin's back. That's really cool. And then he just throws out this massive total, which is more than any of us have done yet back in April. Who knows what he's gonna do in November? Like, is he just gonna walk through nationals and like come first on an RP8 day? I have no idea. So I'm like excited for that. But again, he doesn't post anything. No one knows. Whereas like Kelso's throwing stuff on his stories all the time, and by no means am I like, oh, if you post on your stories, you're trying to show off, or if you don't post, you're trying to hide. It's just who the people are. Like I don't post on my stories a whole lot about my lifting. Ken posts rage bait all the time, and he's just like, oh, 220 deadlift, that's my max today. I'm like, Ken, shut up. No, it's not. We all know you're lying. And like Matt's just like a dad and working, so like he might just throw up a squat here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like massively, um, why it doesn't make sense for me to compare myself to any of these people. So I'm consciously stopping myself because we don't have the same coaches. We're not on the
No.
same like, training system.
No.
The intention for when we're all supposed to be at our peak strength is completely different from our coach's perspective. Like I know
Yeah.
my coach likes to beat me up with volume, get me borderline injured or sometimes injured, and then recover me in time for comp. So at no point am I actually supposed to be very strong during training. Whereas other coaches might be like, right, yeah, I want you kind of peak freshness on day 4 or day 3 or whenever it is. Like week 4, I do want you to hit like a big number every time. That might be their strategy. But to compare me being in the bin all the time to someone who is supposed to be fresh all the time, like it makes no sense unless I'm about to go, oh, well, Melvin's really strong. Let me go get Garben as a coach.
Yeah, I, it is something that I think where social media has taken over the powerlifting space to where it just serves a massive detriment because you really don't know, as you said, nobody's training is fully lined up. Like you look at the variety of people's programming and it's crazy. Like I don't actually have too much of a massive volume other than bench. Just bench. I get 4 times a week. I only squat twice a week. Might throw up a massive pause squat in my eyes. But that will be the only lift where I will really just start like going out the park and getting hit big numbers. Whereas bench, I'll hit big numbers with a big volume because you can rest in more deadest. I just don't really care as much about. But then obviously I'll be doing warm-ups now. It's one of the matters that I think powerlifting needs to have its own little conversation within because as you grow older, you might post your training less and less because life responsibilities. For example, my missus and I bought a flat. Well, we bought a flat in outer London recently, and we're sorting everything out for moving in. I'm thinking to myself, like, my goodness me, this is the big time responsibilities I have to deal with. I'll still be able to train. There's no issue about that. I can easily get it in. She's my girlfriend is very, very supportive of my training, and it does make it easier. But I think there is this insistence that everybody just posts their training, and you have, I don't know, individuals such as, I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head, like Joy Namani is a case example in British powerlifting. You have people. I'm trying to think the best examples off the top of my head. There are a lot of people in powerlifting who will post religiously, and a lot of people will post lesser. But it just rings the point true. Listen to the coach. Goodness sake, if you post on social media, fine, but listen to your coach because you're paying them for a service and they're more likely not going to know what they're talking about.
Yeah, like if you're paying for a coach and not doing what they say, or I think one of the big things is with social media, it can almost lead you not to trust your coach. If you see big success with other lifters who have a different coach, like there is absolutely a possibility where you're then looking at your training and your coach and thinking, well, I'm not that good. I'm not lifting those numbers. I was lifting the same as them 6 weeks ago, but now they're lifting more. Like I think it can start kind of like digging into your brain where it's like, well, who's at fault? And who's picking themselves to be at fault? No one. So it's like, oh, well, then it must be the coach is the problem. Well, again, it's like, is that the intention of your coach? Have a conversation with them. Don't just be like, all right, I'm off. You're not doing good. Well, good job. Fired. You can be like, oh, I've noticed this. And you can be like, what's the intention? What's the idea? Where's the long-term plan? Like, when should I feel strong? When should I feel a bit beaten up? Because, yeah, loads of powerlifters think that they should be, they think, oh, here's my primary session. I should feel fresh on that day. Not always.
No,
It's not
no.
always the intention. It's just
I think
like the hardest or the highest intensity or the most volume session you have of that week. That's why it's called primary.
I think we as powerlifters have this big mentality of primary meaning obviously a top one where it's like everything just comes to one. It all inverts on just one singular point to this will be my best day, and it's so not true. And it's obviously there where you want to obviously be releasing those big numbers per se and how I would view it. But I mean, as I said, like I got 170 for bench on a week 3 on a secondary, and I had a conversation with Stefan. He said, "Do you feel strongest on your secondary?" I went, "Yeah, all day." And he said, "Right, so let's chuck a single in then, end the block." This was several blocks ago, and I got 192.5 like with it. And I thought, and he said to me, he said, "Yeah," he said, "I've noticed this," said, "but we're going to like whack the volume out. There's going to be some massive numbers in that secondary." And I think around that primary, lifters refuse to take the externality factor into account, where they will either make excuses for it or they will entirely disregard it. I think with externalities, there's all the conversations where people go, you should worry about them versus you shouldn't. I think to myself personally, somebody who works shift work, get on with what you can, work around what you can. There are basic, and some days you will not feel 100%, but if you can just graft it and smash that glass barrier, you're going to have a better training session than you think. There's an expectation that your training is only going to go well when everything's perfect. And I know this is a very rural analogy, but life isn't perfect. You just got to get on with it.
Yeah, it's what is it? It's like if it's not optimal, it's not worth doing. Well, it absolutely is. If like you JP can't change the fact that you do shift work.
Yeah.
Right. So that's an external you've no control over. Like, control the controllables. What can you control? What food you eat, probably. You've got a bit more control over that. What time
Yeah.
you eat, to an extent, you've got control over that. How much sleep you get, you've got control over that more than what your shift pattern is.
Yeah. I
So
think
just run with what shift you have, because that's not your choice.
I think as well, like I relate this on a personal matter as well. So with the matter of my girlfriend and I buying a house / flat, we've taken the view that there's still a lot of paperwork to do for it, and there are matters of me packing up where I'm living right now and packing things slowly away, step by step. And sometimes I might get a call from maybe solicitors involved with it, maybe involved with the maybe involved with the mortgage lender as well. And I have to bounce all this, go to work, with Kirsty and whatnot, with my work. And I think to myself, I've had some of the best training sessions in recent weeks because I've just gotten in and I just think I just want to just get your training done. It's prescribed for you. Put the numbers on the board, put your numbers down, tell your coach how you're feeling, let them know in advance, and you've done what you can. Now you've just got to put the graft in, and it makes it a lot more enjoyable. Like, I can walk, for example, through a session now and think, oh well, it's been a long day. I've had sort of some stuff out with regards to obviously the house. I've had to, there's matters I want to prepare for with Kirsty, and now I think to myself, well, actually, great, let's go and train. I don't have to think about anything advanced. I don't think about this exercise or how it's going to be. Let's just go and train. It's more fun. It's way more fun.
No, absolutely. Like, again, it goes back to like, what's a bad session or what's a bad comp day? If you achieve everything you needed to, then it can't be that bad, can it? And
No,
everyone's disappointment comes from where expectations don't meet reality, where they don't line up. If your expectation is way too high for your session and you fall short of that, you're going to feel annoyed. And that was your decision to have a really high expectation. If you're going into your sessions, you, JP, are going into your sessions and just thinking, what's going to happen? Like, I've got an RPE, 6 single. That is the goal. The goal's not 300. It's an RPE 6 single. So if you've achieved that is exactly what you needed to do, regardless if it was less than last week, regardless if it was like, if it felt nice or not. That was the goal. That was achieved. Sound like session done. That you like, it's difficult to have a bad session if you have that mentality, because the only thing that can really happen is you exceed it, and that's when you're happy with your session.
So just relating on that, just thinking about with it and enjoying training, do you enjoy your training? I know it's a bit of a spin, bit of a personal,
Yeah,
but do you enjoy
that is a fair spin. So not always. So like, well, it sounds hypocritical to me, be like, oh, just enjoy your training, don't go in with expectations, right? But the reason I'm currently not enjoying my training is because I'm carrying an injury. So
okay.
like, at the moment, I'm not able to squat. I
Oh
want to
dear.
squat. Squats are fun. Like, I'm now denied enjoyment of my training of being able to squat, right?
Yeah.
Like, deadlifts are slightly inhibited, but I can still do them. So I'm like, fine, that's fine. Bench is flying because, I don't really use my legs when I bench. So like, great. I declined a fucking Euros bench only comp invite, and I'm like, I should have probably taken that.
220 bench. You can call yourself beltless back to 220 bench back.
You're just bench only back, yeah.
Back.
So yeah, but like that, the only reason, yeah, I'm not enjoying it is because of an injury. Like I wouldn't say I hate training. I still go. I still do the best I can. What is it? That Swedish lady, Alba, is that her name?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I think I saw on her Instagram she's got a hip injury, and she's acting no different to when she's at full health and really happy and enjoying training. She's like, my training has just changed because I've got a hip issue. My training has changed because I have a knee issue, but obviously I'm an athlete, so at the back of my mind, I'm bricking it because I'm 6 weeks out from an international and I
Yeah.
currently can't do a bodyweight squat. But like that's probably quite a niche scenario. There's still other things I can do.
Funny enough, actually, I didn't realize of the injury. I mean, we talk when we can through text, but there's a lad in my gym called Hafiz Shohari who's a very, very strong 83, really strong. Coached by Stefano as well. And he's currently carrying an injury where he can squat, he can't deadlift at all. And his bench, he's got shoulder injury. I remember having a conversation with him the other day, and we joke a lot. But I just had the first serious conversation probably ever with the lad, and I said to him, I said, "Do you not think that you can sort of now appreciate the parts of training that you couldn't do because you're carrying this injury?" And so, therefore, with that inclined, would you say that as well?
Yeah, because I've definitely been having training times where I'm like, oh, I hate squats. They're really annoying, or they're not moving how I want, and I do my best to keep my negative emotion where it is in terms of like if I'm annoyed in the gym and I leave, that annoyance stays in the gym. I have now left that there. Um,
Perfect.
but yeah, so say I've been in this situation before, like nationals last year, 5 weeks leading into it, couldn't do any deadlifts, but I could
Mm,
squat and I could bench. So now I can still deadlift, but I can't squat and I can bench. And that comp last time went fine. So luckily, through experience, I've been in this situation before. I'm in this situation again. I think comp will go fine.
mm.
I think it will be okay because I've done it before. And
I
yeah,
like the
I'd say once I could deadlift again previously, I was happier. So once I can squat again soon, hopefully, I will be happier with my training. But like I say, I'm not like that annoyed. I'm just miss squats.
Oh, did you know? There's simplicity when you say I miss squats. You're not going to talk about squats as if it's something where your life is held on the pedestal, and as soon as that pedestal gets taken out, it all crumbles. Like you will miss squats. And I can only contrast this to myself with costochondritis having that. I thought, damn, I really miss bench. Like I was on real. I was like, damn, I really miss it right now. But now that I look back at it, I think to myself, it actually made me appreciate everything else that went on top of it, and it made me appreciate the alternative movements I could do. Because I remember after I think days after I got costochondritis, I remember going to train, doing just and I slapped the whole week off. I was meant to be a nice big week 4 primary with some big old lifts attached to them. And that inevitably didn't happen. And then I just did a leg session myself. Some of the lads needed a spot, so I jumped in, helped spot. Didn't prevent from spotting people. So I was like, yeah, climb whenever. And I remember doing stuff. I thought, do you know what? I really love what I'm doing right now. I can just do some, you know, hack squats to death. I can do some pendulum squats until I can't feel my legs anymore. I can do some movements I've never ever touched in my life. And obviously they're not going to be put into my training because I've kept the same program more or less for a year and a half. And if it works, you keep it going. And I thought to myself, this now makes me appreciate the whole realm of training that comes with it. And some people will always want that monotonous stretch, but if something by just injuries chance and you have to sack a couple of days off, explore those options.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like, I've got rehab for my knee, so it's almost
Oh,
like
good.
the
Well,
rehab is my training session. Like the effort I'd put in on my primary squat day, which was supposed to be yesterday, I just put that into the rehab. Like
oh, brilliant.
the only thing I can guarantee is if I sit on my ass for the next 5 weeks and do nothing about it, It's not going to get any better.
Yes.
Like, I can
There's
guarantee that if I do my rehab and I try and improve it, it will get better. So,
yes.
and what do I want? I want my knee to stop hurting. I want to be able to compete. So,
Has there been anything formally like diagnosed with it, or is it something that you've noticed yourself? I mean, you noticed it yourself, and you think, okay, I've got this issue. This is rehab I have to do. Set by myself.
no, I've been seeing a physio. They're like qualifying physios. They're not like finished their degree yet, but it's a case of, to me, I don't really give a shit why my knee hurts. I just want to know what's going to make it better, right? I,
Brilliant.
I personally don't care. You can tell me some stupid name like patellofemoral syndrome or like some bollocks. I don't. What difference does that make, right? I don't care what it's called. How do I make it better? Because I'll just do that. It doesn't matter to me. Like,
That's that's a really sensible analogy. I think we all want to find out the causes to everything because we think we're the own masters of our own physiology, but we happen to not be. If you're not going to know what is wrong inside of the knee by just some definition granted to it, because we can all look up Google search site, for example, that people look up like, do I have a symptom and it says you've got cancer? And you
yeah,
just think, well, there's this overcompensation. But the amount of stresses in the sport, like when you get injured, it's not going to be a freak accident unless it is something where you drop a bar on yourself. They will recover over time because you have just
yeah,
you've made that connective tissue stronger through the repeated stress of your training, and therefore your body rewards you back for that and says, well, we can recover quite quickly.
yeah. So I think I understand you got to go in like 5 minutes. If I can tie kind of everything together that we've spoken about in terms of people having bad competitions and people having bad training sessions and just like coming back from injury and things. Um, like not only is it expectations and reality, but also so competitions, performance is in the basic form a relationship between fitness and fatigue. Okay, like you've spent years training, it wouldn't be logical to think that you could have really gotten any weaker. It doesn't make sense, right? Like you train for a whole year and not compete and you come back and you're total less. It doesn't make much sense to think that you would have become weaker even though you've trained for a whole year. So it's that relationship of fitness fatigue. Your fitness either wasn't high enough or your fatigue was masking your fitness, therefore your performance wasn't there. When it comes to injury, again, like I'm training, I'm trying to stay strong or get a little bit stronger or something, right? And I've trained for all this time. The injury, there was no pop, there was no snap. It just gradually, oh, that's a bit tight. I ignored it. Got a bit tighter, kept ignoring it. Got a bit more painful. I ignored it. That's my problem, right? But I feel that that's a lot of people's problem. Oh, my shoulder kind of hurts. Because sometimes you ignore it and actually it feels better now. That was nothing. But for me, it was like a 2 out of 10, a 3 out of 10, a 4 out of 10, a 6 out of 10 knee pain. Oh, and then it kind of jumped. It was like, oh, now it's a 9, 10. I can't even do body weights. But again, I've not got weaker. Like it wouldn't make any sense. I'm still training. Yeah, okay, my skill of my squat's probably not as good, but when I come back to it, but still, it's just like powerlifting injuries aren't usually sudden tears, rips.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's not really anything serious. My knee hurts because something's tight, and yeah, I want to know why so I can prevent it, but I don't care what it's called because that doesn't matter to me. I want to
No.
know how I can make it better, and I want to know how I can prevent it in the future.
Yes. No, so that I can't think of any sort of way, and I think you could effectively clip that last 2 minutes very nicely, and you could broadcast that to other powerlifters because they need to hear stuff like this. Because I say this, and it sounds almost like glazing in essence. I mean, we're both pals, but you've got to say it. There's saying this sensible, grounded rationality that you've just said, just there every single powerlifter could benefit from hearing that. They could massively benefit because there is this very bullheaded approach within this sport that exists, and what you've just said there in regards to injuries, your expectations, fatigue, and more would actually benefit every single powerlifter if they took those lessons into account. Seriously.
Yeah, I don't disagree, and I find myself with a lot of my athletes just being like, they may have had a bad comp, and I'll be like, well, these could be the reasons why, but equally it's important to have them. Or I think I've got one athlete now that's like really struggling with chronic pain, and I'm like, well, we just like run through each avenue, but also understand I'm not a physio. And then he'll go see his physio friend. I'm like, cool, what do they say? Like, I want to work with these people. I think powerlifting coaches that try and do everything. Oh, I'm a nutritionist, I'm a physio, I'm an S&C coach, I'm a powerlifting coach, I'm a handyman, I'm going to clean your plumbing. Like, okay, sure, if you've got some kind of education or experience to back all of those things up, crack on. But also, in professional sports, something that we want powerlifting to be eventually, they've got a person for each one of those things, because it's unrealistic to have one person wearing like 7 hats and being actually good at all of them. It's like a CrossFitter. They're strong, they're fit, they're skillful. They're not the strongest, they're not the fittest, they're not the most skillful at anything. Jack of all trades, master of none, but it's what's the whole thing? It's like better than being a master of one, I think it is. That's the whole phrase.
Master of none, and then master of one. I think
it's better than being a master of one. I think that's
everyone wants a piece of the pie, but not everybody will hone that skill and that precision to get that one skill that's actually needed. And I think that's something that's extremely important within powerlifting, to hone your craft and to learn more, because you could have some people who could be pioneers within strength and conditioning coaching, but they want to explore the avenues of physiotherapy. They want to explore the avenues of coaching purely for powerlifting or another sport. And I think people can't hack the monotony of what they do. For example, like, as people know, I work as a copper, and what I'd say is, like, policing, there's multiple strands of it, but some people hone their craft into one style policing and do it for ages. I'll tell you what, I'd rather go to that person to ask about it, because they've known how the matter changes, and compare it back to powerlifting coaching. Powerlifting coaching has changed a lot over the years. I wouldn't be able to quantify what metrics that is on, or what understanding has changed, or how programming has changed on average if we were to collate all the data of various powerlifters' programs and put them together. But there is this change that has gone over time, and you want to ask the people who've been in it the longest and have dedicated the most time into the craft of it to find out how it's changed, how they've reacted to changes, and how they've been the person that you would say, that guy is the Spock that I want to go to see what powerlifting is all about.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, you look at any other, because I think the main point is powerlifting coaches shouldn't be scared to let their athletes go and see a physio. Like, the physio is not going to heal your athlete. The physio is going to fix them, bring them back to you. Okay, your athlete might have to leave for a month while they get fixed, but at least they come back, instead of you trying to chat GPT their symptoms and what their possible rehab could be. You get told this, and you doesn't work. It's just like a waste of time. And then the athlete thinks you don't know anything as a coach and leaves you anyway and never comes back.
It's the easiness element. I mean, I'll probably offer my last input here, but I would say, like, shouts out to Stephen Campbell, who got me fixed after costochondritis. I remember Stephen texting me. I reached out to him. I told Stefan, I said, Stefan, I've just fucked my chest up and whatnot. I can't even bench 100 right now. And he got back to me. He rearranged the program, and I said, I'm going to reach out to a physio. He said, go for it. Reached out to Stephen Campbell, texted him instantly. Stephen, within like hours, said, right, here's the time for a video call. Here's what we're going to do. do you give me permission to contact Stefan? Absolutely. Go ahead. They contact one another, and within 4 weeks, I was back to benching 180.
Yeah.
Right? That's how there's a faith that people are masters. You can have one and two. If you just have one, there's going to be a denigration / diluting of experience of that. That's my view. That's the last thing I'd go off on it.
No, I agree, because, you know, if your pet's ill, you go to the vet. If your car stops working, you go to the garage. Then, you know, why do athletes think, oh, my knee hurts, I'm just not going to do anything? Now, I know I'm guilty, because literally my knee hurt, I didn't do anything, didn't tell anyone until it was too late. But now I've gone to the physio. Like, I've told my coach. I mean, I did tell my coach for a while. I was like, my knee hurts, and he was like, no. You know, he's aware of it, because I'm made of glass. Like, yeah. So, and also second opinions. If anybody's had a surgery or has been told you need to go and have some surgery or something, or you've been denied something in like the NHS or any medical situation, often it's quite common for you or the other doctor to get a second opinion from someone else. No one person knows everything. So we'll leave it there. Maybe I'll clip that bit and promote our podcast eventually. Might get more than like 10 views.
Absolutely. Absolutely.